4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Recording.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello friends, welcome to Studio Classroom. Your English will improve today. My name is Carolyn. Are you a competitive person? Some people are competitive while playing games, like board games or online games. But what about competing with others physically? What about racing against others to see who is the fastest? Well, our lesson today is The Last Great Race. This lesson is not just about any race. It's not around a track. In fact, it's much longer than a marathon. It's called the Iditarod Trail. It takes place in Alaska, and it includes sleds and dogs. And just how long is this race? Let's find out.
The Last Great Race. An exciting 1,000-mile race across Alaska by dog sled. On the first Saturday of March, mushers and their teams gather at the starting line in Anchorage, Alaska. Excitement is in the air as the Iditarod Trail sled dog race begins. Spectators cheer on the teams along their 11-mile route through the city. They will travel from Anchorage to Nome, Alaska, through dense forests and across frozen rivers in temperatures far below zero. They will battle nature and the elements to see who will be first to arrive in Nome.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 这篇文章的第一个重点，我们看 slate 这个名词。slate 是指雪橇，注意这里的 e 是发长音的 a 的音变成 slate。例如 The supplies were transported to the camp by slate。这些补给品是用雪橇载送到营地的。或者是 These sled dogs started to run once the musher whistled。赶狗拉雪橇的人一吹口哨，这些雪橇犬就开始跑。sled 也可以当动词，意思就是驾乘雪橇。注意它的过去式、过去分词还有现在分词都要重复字尾的 d， 再加上 ed 或 ing。例如 The kids went sledding right after we arrived at the ski resort。我们一到了这个滑雪度假中心，孩子们就跑去玩雪橇。继续我们看的是 dense 这个形容词 dense 是指浓密的或浓厚的。例如 The cars were moving very slowly due to the dense fog。由于雾非常浓，车辆移动得非常缓慢。或者是 The expedition team almost got lost in the dense jungle。这个探险队差点在这个浓密的丛林里迷了路。它的名词是 density， D-E-N-S-I-T-Y， 意思是密度或密集。例如 The rise of housing prices of this area is due to the high population density。这个地区的房价上升是由于人口密度很高。或者是 regular weight training can increase bone density。规律的重量训练可以增加骨质的密度。
Thank you very much, Michelle. Our lesson today is about the last great race, but before we talk about that, I'd like to introduce a new teacher to our program today, Jack. Welcome, Jack.
Thanks so much, Carolyn. Man, I'm so happy to be joining you for today's lesson.
Well, I'm glad that you're here while Teacher Gabe is away this month. Jack will be helping to teach the program for you. All right, so all this month in March, we have Teacher Jack with us. And I have a question for you about today's lesson.
Yeah.
So we are going to Alaska for a race. Have you ever been to Alaska?
I have not been to Alaska yet.
I haven't really either. I've only been through the airport. So here's another question for you. Have you ever been in a race?
I have, in fact. My first race was here in Taiwan, and it was with Let's Run.
Well, that's a great race to be in, the Let's Run that is hosted by Studio Classroom and Ijo. It's a lot of fun, but that race is much shorter than the one we're talking about today. Let's look at our lesson, The Last Great Race. We read here, how long is this race, Jack?
The race is an exciting 1,000-mile race across Alaska by dog sled.
Well, that's pretty special, a very unique kind of race, a dog sled race. And we'd read here, on the first Saturday of March, mushers and their teams gather at the starting line in Anchorage, Alaska. So this last great race, this interesting race right here, and we can see a picture of the banner, the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race, and it's about 1,000 miles long, and the mushers and their teams are gathering at the starting line. Now, this is an interesting word here, the word musher. A musher is the person who is in charge of the dogs, right, Jack?
Yes, that's correct. You don't want to think of someone who is maybe cooking or something like that. It's totally different from that word mush.
Right, so this musher is the person who is telling the dogs where to go. So this race isn't a race that you run, it's a race that the dogs run, and the musher is in charge of that team. Well, let's continue with the next sentence here, Jack.
For sure. Excitement is in the air as the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race begins. Wow, there's another interesting phrase in here, Carolyn. It's something is in the air. And you know what this means is simply that something is felt by a group of people.
Right, so it's a common feeling that many people are experiencing at the same time. In our lesson, it's excitement, but you could also say that love is in the air, or joy is in the air, or if something is scary, fear is in the air. But many people here at the dog race, the sled dog race, are feeling excitement.
That's right. In fact, the spectators cheer on the teams along their 11-mile route through the city. So in their excitement, the spectators, those people who are watching, are shouting or chanting to encourage the racers.
Right, and that's what that phrase cheer on means, to shout or chant encouragement to someone. For example, this is often used at sporting events. You might say that the fans cheered on the football team, or the fans cheered on their favorite player. And here the fans are cheering on the teams that are going along this route. Now, the spectators are only there for the first 11 miles of this 1,000-mile race.
I wouldn't stay for the whole 1,000 miles if I were watching.
No, I wouldn't either. I think it would be too cold because this race is happening in Alaska, which is known for snow. Well, we continue reading that these racers will travel from Anchorage to Nome, Alaska, 2 different cities, through dense forests and across frozen rivers in temperatures far below 0.
Ooh.
Oh, that sounds very cold.
I can almost feel it right now.
And you'll notice on our map here that there are actually 2 routes. The routes are different depending on the year. And we continue with our lesson, They will battle nature and the elements. Can you tell us about that phrase there, Jack? The elements.
Yes, for sure. The elements are strong kinds of weather. So rain, wind, hail, snow, those sorts of things.
Well, this competition involves a lot of teamwork, and we have more to learn about teams in the Info Cloud.
Welcome to InfoCloud. Today, I want to talk about the importance of teamwork. Without great teamwork, it would be hard for us to produce InfoCloud.
Thanks, Rex. I think we have a great team here on InfoCloud.
One of my favorite English expressions is about teams. It's used very often in both sports and in business. There is no I in team.
The obvious meaning is that you don't use the letter I to spell the word team in English. The expression is used to mean the team is greater than the individual.
But I like to think of it in terms of team sports. To put it simply, if you're not working together with your teammates, you're not a team.
Now, a coach might use this to tell his players to work together better. He might say to a player, "Hey, Jones, there's no I in team. Pass that ball."
But we can also use it to say that we are not the only ones responsible for our success. For example, if someone gives us a compliment about InfoCloud,
we can safely say, "Really, there is no I in team. We have a talented and hardworking production staff that helps us make InfoCloud what it is today."
今天分享的这个流行用语其实是一个团队合作的概念。There is no I in team. 在团队当中没有我这个字。这句话要传递的精神就是在团队合作的模式当中，每一个人都需要把自己放在一个比较谦卑的位置，因为团队的利益比个人还重要。在篮球场上，如果有球员打个人秀，不愿意传球给别人，教练可能会开骂 ：“Hey Jones, there's no I in team. Pass that ball. Hey Jones， 在团队中没有个人，把球传出去。” There is no I in team。这句话要表达的是 team 团队这个字没有 I 这个字母。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Studio Classroom. Excitement is certainly in the air as spectators cheer on the teams competing in the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race. Competitors will travel across the Alaskan wilderness as they try to be the first ones to reach Nome, a city in Alaska. But what inspired this race? Why do they travel so far in such harsh, terrible conditions? They have a lot of things that they must deal with. Well, there is an interesting bit of history that is attached to this race. Let's find out what started it all with our next reading.
The Last Great Race. The Iditarod Trail started as a supply route. It ran from the Alaskan coast to the mining camps in the Alaskan interior. In the late 19th and early 20th century, sled dog teams carried mail and supplies into the camps. In 1925, a diphtheria epidemic threatened Nome. The city needed serum to stop the disease, and the closest supply was in Anchorage. Sled dog teams worked together and followed the trail to get the serum to Nome fast. They did it in 5.5 days, and the dogs and mushers became heroes.
OK， 接下来我们看的是 interior 这个名词 ，in 这个字首是指里面，所以 interior 在这里是指内陆或内地。例如 ，the interior of this island remains unspoiled and serene。这个岛屿的内陆仍然保持未受破坏以及它的宁静。Interior 也指内部，例如 ，a large part of the interior of the car is covered with genuine leather。这部车大部分的内装都是用真皮覆盖的。它的反义字是把字首的 in 变成 ex， 变成 exterior， 意思是指外部或外观。例如 ，the exterior of the building was renovated last year。这栋大楼的外部去年被重新装修过。最后我们看的是 diphtheria epidemic 这个名词。diphtheria 是指白喉这种疾病，而 epidemic 是指流行病，所以 diphtheria epidemic 是指白喉的大流行或疫情。另外用到 epidemic 的例句还有 Some scientists predict that there will be a global flu epidemic next year。有一些科学家预测明年会有全球性的流感盛行，或者是 Thousands of people were infected as the epidemic spread。这个流行病疾病爆发的时候，数千人都受到感染。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Let's continue reading our next sentence here. The Iditarod Trail started as a supply route. Now, that means that the Iditarod Trail wasn't always a racetrack or this long route that people traveled on. Here, it's a supply route. And what do we learn about in our next sentence?
The route ran from the Alaskan coast to the mining camps in the Alaskan interior. And you know what? There's something that I think is very interesting here. It's the use of the word ran. So the route ran. And what does it mean when a route, a road, or a street runs? It means that that street goes in a certain direction, or maybe you're talking about where it goes.
Sure. So, for example, you might say that this road runs from the northern part of the island all the way to the southern tip. It runs. That's where it goes. So this route ran from the Alaskan coast to the mining camps that were in the interior or on the inside part of this state of Alaska. And we continue reading that in the late 19th and 20th century, sled dog teams carried mail and supplies into the camps.
That's right. In fact, it was in 1925 that a diphtheria epidemic threatened Nome.
Now, that's very serious, this diphtheria epidemic, and we have you need to get a serum here. We see the word serum. The city needed serum to stop the disease. Now, serum is kind of an interesting word, right, Jack?
It certainly is, and it's a special kind of medicine. It's a liquid that comes from animals, and it's used to treat and prevent certain kinds of diseases.
Sure, so it's kind of like a vaccine, but it can also be used to treat after someone has the disease. For example, snake bites are often treated with serum, and this serum is made from snake venom, so it's something that's made from the animal. Now, you may notice that this word has a few different pronunciations. Sometimes we say serum, and sometimes we say serum. So you can say this word a few different ways.
So the city needed this serum to stop the disease, diphtheria. And the closest supply was in Anchorage, Alaska, a far distance away. So the sled dog teams worked together and they followed the trail to get the serum to Nome fast.
And that's really important because when there's an epidemic, you don't have a lot of time to treat the disease. Now, we see a phrase here that they followed the trail. Can you tell us about that phrasing, Jack?
For sure, it doesn't mean that the trail was somehow moving ahead of them and they were following it. It simply means that they stayed on a trail and they continued along it.
Sure, if you go hiking in the woods, you will probably follow a trail. Perhaps you'll even follow a trail to a beautiful pond that's inside the forest, and it's very beautiful. Well, they are following the trail to get this serum to Nome, and they did it in 5.5 days. And the dogs and mushers became heroes. That is really incredible because now when people run the Iditarod race, it takes them a lot longer than 5 days to get from Anchorage to Nome.
Wow, that's incredible. For more info on this, why don't we go to
The SC
Challenge.
Hello friends and welcome to the SC Challenge. We have had a great lesson today, so let's see how you do in the challenge and let's meet our teachers.
Hello, my name is David and I am very excited to be here on the SC Challenge this month.
And my name is Hazel and I'm excited too, kind of.
Well, let's see how the two of you do with our questions today. Here is the first one. Where does the Iditarod Trail sled dog race begin? A. Anchorage, Alaska. B. Nome, Alaska. C. Vancouver, Canada. Or D. Seattle, Washington. Yes, David.
There's no place like Nome, Alaska.
Your answer is Nome, Alaska. B. That is not correct. Oh, all right, Hazel?
Well, it must be A then.
That is correct. The answer is A, Anchorage, Alaska. The race ends in Nome, Alaska. I'm sorry, David. All right, so Hazel got the first one. Let's go to our second question. What was the original purpose of the Iditarod Trail? A, to provide scenic views. B, to make long bus trips shorter. C, to get supplies from one place to another. Or D, to help dogs get more exercise. Oh, Hazel, I think, was faster.
I think the answer is C, to take some supplies from one place to the other.
That's right. The answer is C. The Iditarod Trail started as a supply route. All right, so Hazel, that's a point for you again. Well, let's see about this last question. How were the sled dog teams treated after they delivered medicine to the people in Nome? A, like mailmen. B, like heroes. C, like dogs. Or D, like miners. All right, David?
They were treated like heroes.
That is correct. All right, great job. Thank you for joining us for the SC Challenge. I'm sure that you did great as well. And we'll see you next time, right here on the challenge. We've learned a lot about the last great race that takes place in Alaska, the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race from Anchorage, Alaska to Nome. We've learned a little bit about the history of this race, how it began as something that was meant to carry a serum or an antidote or a vaccine for a disease to the city of Nome. We have more to learn about this great race in tomorrow's lesson, so be sure to join us here on Studio Classroom.